Today, I'm going to review and go over my complete thoughts for Blocktail's Demo 4, so enjoy! Before we get into the video though, I am doing a future video that you guys can participate in. The video I'm doing is Blocktail's Hot Take, and you guys can actually participate in this video, so join my Discord in the pinned comments for more information. So it's been about a few weeks since Blocktail's Demo 4 has been released, and I have replayed Demo 4 about 3 times, and I've gathered my entire thoughts and likes and dislikes about the demo. And today, that's exactly what we're talking about. Remember, these are just my thoughts and opinions, so they aren't automatically correct, and you're allowed to disagree with some of my points. But how this video will work is I will separate Demo 4 into 4 different sections, and those sections will be music, enemies and bosses, story and environment, and difficulty. I will give each of these a score out of 10, and at the end give Demo 4 as a whole a score out of 10. So let's get started. Let's start with the music. I feel like this is obvious, but the music is a 10 out of 10. Literally, just like with the last demo, the music is always a banger, and when it comes to music, Blocktails will never disappoint. I think my favorite tracks from this demo is obviously Ancient's theme, because it's literally such a banger and it was so unexpected to hear during the fight. My second favorite OST is probably Temple Guardian, because again, it's just a banger. Unlike the later sections in this video, I don't really need to go into detail, but it's obvious why the music is a 10 out of 10, because in Blocktails, it is always a 10 out of 10. The second section is enemies and bosses. First, let's start with the basic enemies. I think the basic enemies we encounter are overall good. An enemy I really liked was a Mimic, because it really did trick me the first time I encountered it, which was funny. The basic bird and the ancient painting enemies are good. I like how the bird can actually do some damage and can be hard at times to counter, so that's nice. So that's basically it for the basic enemies. Let's go over the main thing, the bosses. Okay, so the first boss we encounter is the Genie, and I have a lot of thoughts about him, so let's get into it. First, I love how unique this boss is. Literally everything about him is really unique. His model is unique, his animations, his attacks. I love how he summons a little dummy and can literally attack you with coins, cardboard people, and a freaking car. I hate and love that car attack, as it's funny, but it's super hard to dodge. At least for me, just because of like how so fast it comes out of nowhere and it's like super random. But overall, I really love the Genie boss, but the next boss we're gonna talk about is Temple Guardian. Again, I love how everything about this boss is super unique. The animations, its 2 little gimmicks, and its attack. First, I really didn't like how they took away our swords for the first few minutes of the fight, but then I warmed up to it and I actually enjoyed it, since it gave the fight more difficulty and actually had me thinking about some actions instead of just using Ice Dagger or Ghost Walker to avoid things entirely. I really love the background of the fight, how we are falling but we're still fighting the Guardian, and I love how you can see Captain Trotter just falling in the back. I also really enjoy the mechanic of killing the hands first before you can actually harm the Guardian. I think that was really unique, and the hands were not so easy to take down and dodge, so it really added some difficulty to the fight, which I heavily enjoyed. Next is Trotter, which again I heavily enjoy, and I do have some hot takes about him coming up. But I do love how they implemented the sword and the ball mechanic, so you have to switch between the 2 attacks, and it's nice because people like Knight mains or ball mains, they can't just, use their mains. They actually have to think about what they want to use and swap between the 2. I really love that. I love how Inferno is an undodgeable attack. Just like with the Guardian, it made the fight challenging and super fun, and his soundtrack is peak. Trotter, for me personally, he is a 10 out of 10 character, a 10 out of 10 OST, and a 10 out of 10 fight. Literally everything about this fight was perfect. But now it's time for the Ancient, and I know for a fact people are going to hate me on this. Aside from the banger OST that is a 10 out of 10, Ancient's fight felt a bit lame to me. The only special mechanic he really had was killing the minions before attacking him. But unlike with the Temple Guardian, the minions' HP were low, and they were like, you could easily kill the minions before, so you could literally just use like line bounce or rocket launcher to get rid of the minions instantly. So it was like, okay, I don't really like it. I wish they were more tanky or the minions like actually had a purpose. But yeah, he also had the mechanic of hiding your stats, which to me just kind of felt useless because stats weren't really important in that fight. And I don't remember if he inflicted any stats upon us except for the fire from that one fire attack, but yeah. He also just felt lame. His attacks were a bit lame as he didn't have any special attacks like Hatred with the undodgeable attack, Trotter with the barrel roll or the Inferno attacks. Ancient took away our swords, but that was only like halfway through the fight when he was half dead. I feel like if they wanted to make the fight harder overall, they should have done it like with Temple Guardian and should have just taken away the swords at the start. Ancient as a final boss just really felt lackluster to me. Like personally, I feel like Trotter was the better final boss and he wasn't even that hard, but like compared to other bosses like Hatred, Trotter, and Temple Guardian, it's just like, it's boring. Don't get me wrong, I love Ancient's design, but his attacks and his special mechanics, they again felt lame and lackluster compared to the other bosses. I know I'm gonna get hate for this, but I just really felt like they could have done Ancient's fight more justice because I love his OST and I love his design. They should have made it harder and they should have like incorporated some attacks like Inferno or that one Hatred attack where it's undodgeable. I love that they took away the swords, but like his attacks were kind of easy to dodge and there was nothing really dangerous about him in general. So yeah. The last boss I'm gonna go over is Finn, and I have a lot to say about Finn. I know Finn is supposed to be this hard boss on purpose, and I know his attacks are meant to do a lot of damage, which I'm fine with, and I think it's reasonable. But why do the stupid shotgun minions he summons do so much damage? Like, it's a basic enemy basically, right? Why is a basic enemy able to do 20 damage with super hard attacks to dodge? Like, that kind of just ticks me off, you know? I love Finn and I think his megaphones are annoying, but in like a good challenging way, but I despise that shotgun minion. He is annoying and he should not be able to do 20 damage to a person as a basic enemy. Like, that's something I would expect a Demo 6 or Demo 7 basic enemy to do, not Demo 4 basic enemy. It is way too early for basic enemies to be doing all of that damage. But other than that, Finn is an amazing super boss and I love him being super challenging. And the reward you get from Finn is actually really good. Overall, most of the bosses and basic enemies were super good, but again, Ancient felt really lackluster as the final boss, and the shotgun enemies were annoying. But Trotter, Temple Guardian, and Finn are super cool, so I will give it a solid 7 out of 10. Sorry, but Ancient being like kinda not even challenging and kinda lame really tanked it for me. Next is story and environment. I put these both into the same category because they are kind of like one and the same and they both rely on each other in different ways. First, let's start with the story. The story was mid until we meet Trotter and the Purple Pirate Lady. From there on out, I would say the story is really good. I love how once you get into the catacombs area, you have optional dialogue with the Purple Pirate Lady, and each time you choose to listen to her, they keep hinting about the Ancient being the final boss and how a sacrifice was needed. I think that's a perfect way how you do like foreshadowing, and I love how it's optional too, so they don't like shove it right in your face. It rewards players who actually like pay attention to the lore. So yeah, I really loved Trotter as a character, and I loved and hated how we saw him slowly get corrupted and slowly watched him lose his mind from the sword in real time. Before Demo 4, we only ever saw people like Griefer and Cruel King after they were corrupted by the swords, but this time we got to see it in real time, and I absolutely loved it. It was sad though, because Trotter is like my third favorite character in all of Block Tales, and it sucks how he was the one to get corrupted and sacrificed in order to summon the Ancient. I love Trotter, and in my opinion, we should have sacrificed the Purple Pirate Lady instead. All jokes aside, I love the story as a whole, and honestly, story-wise, it was my second favorite after Demo 3. The only thing I don't like about the story is how Terry is turning into a side character who shows up for 2 seconds and explains how to use this and how to use that, but that's a topic for another video. I like the Demo 2 puzzle we had to solve, and I think I remember in a past video how I asked for more puzzles in future demos, and we got exactly that. The only puzzle I got confused on was the last puzzle with the 4 colored balls, but that was it. I understood everything else. I love the Catacombs vibe and how it felt like we were on an expedition, and the supporting cast being pirates really added on to the vibe, and I love it. If I'm being honest, I would give the story and environment 8 out of 10. The last part is difficulty, and honestly, I was a bit shocked. I thought it was gonna be easy until the final boss, but it was sort of the opposite. Genie was an average level boss, but the Temple Guardian and Trotter were actually challenging, and I died to them a few times originally, which is not a bad thing, as I love bosses being difficult. Obviously, I also died at Finn a few times too, but that's to be expected. Ancient's fight again was just so easy and I didn't like it at all, but Trotter, Finn, and Temple Guardian made up for that, and the pit was so challenging that I like it. The pre-nerf pit was insane and I didn't like that, but the current pit is challenging enough in just the right amount, which is good. Also, the shotgun enemy doing 20 damage to a person is just crazy, especially since its attacks are so hard to dodge, and that's the only thing I really don't like either. Overall, I'm giving the difficulty an 8 out of 10. Again, Ancient's fight being super easy and lackluster took off a point, as well as the shotgun enemy being insanely overtuned, that also took out a point. But an 8 out of 10 is not bad and it's still really good. Overall, when we combine everything and take into account everything, the story, the environment, the difficulty, the enemies, the OST, I'm going to have to give Demo 4 an 8 out of 10. It would be 10 out of 10 if Ancient really just felt like a challenging final boss, but to me, he really did not feel challenging at all, and that's what took out the 1 point from it being a 10 out of 10, and I'm sorry, but yeah. I already know I'm gonna get like a bunch of heat from the comments about my Ancient take, but I just feel like it's correct, you know? Hopefully the next final boss is as challenging as like Hatred was or Captain Trotter was, but basically that's it for the video. What do you guys think? Do you guys disagree with some of my points? Agree with them? Let me know in the comments and I'll try to do my best to look over all the comments in general. I also do want to make like a full video on my thoughts of the direction that Terry is being handled, and also make a video on the balance changes and my overall thoughts on them. I know I made a balance change video, but I quickly like skimmed over my final thoughts on it, as it was just mostly me telling you guys like what was changed. So let me know if you guys would want that type of video. But anyways, thank you for watching and making it to the end, and see ya.